We all have a superconscious mind that we constantly use, often in a haphazard way. It's the source of such things as inspiration, motivation, enthusiasm, excitement, insights, intuition, creativity, and all the brand new ideas that come into the world. The difference between superior people and average people is superior people use their superconscious mind more. Often average people use it sporadically. It's almost like car crashes. They occasionally bump into an idea and think, wow, that's an interesting idea, and then go on home and watch television. But super kind people who use the super conscious mind use it deliberately and specifically. There was a story of the gods, and the gods got together at the beginning of the creation of man, and they said, we're going to create man, and a man is going to evolve, and we want to take the greatest secret of success and happiness and hide it so that man can only find it when he's ready for it. And so where shall we put this great secret? And some of the gods said, let us put on the top of the highest mountain in the Himalayas, and man will never find it. There they said, no, man is very creative. He will find a way to get to the top of the highest mountain. Then let's put it at the bottom of the deepest sea, because man would never find it there. He said, no, man, it's very creative. He'll eventually develop tools and submersibles that will get him to the bottom of the deepest sea. Then where shall we hide it? And they said, let us hide it inside the human heart, the last place that bird people will ever think to look. And a superconscious mind in the super conscious capability is hidden within yourself. It's hidden within your heart. And when you can learn to tap into it at will, you can accomplish extraordinary things. Imagine that you bought a house, and in buying the house they said, now there's a computer in the garage that we can't take with us, but it's a special computer. This computer has been designed by we don't know how, but it is tapped into all the wisdom of the universe, and all you ever have to do when you have a question or problem or a goal of any kind, just go down and sit there at the keyboard and program it in, and then push submit, and all the wisdom of the universe will go to work to answer your question or help you to achieve your goal. And if you had such a computer, would you use it on a regular basis? Would you be down there all the time because you wanted to increase your income, improve your health, change your relationships, repair your business, anything else? Well, you do have it, and that is this superconscious mind that we'll talk about. So we say the following are the characteristics of your superconscious mind. First of all, it has access to all data stored in your subconscious mind. That means everything that you have ever learned, everything you've read, experienced in your lifetime has been stored away, and when your super conscious mind is functioning, it can go back into this vast treasure trove library of your mind, and it can pick out information, any piece of information. Sometimes you'll have a piece of information, an idea that will be from something you read or saw in a movie or had in a conversation decades ago, and it will just pop out when you're working with your superconscious mind to solve a problem or achieve a goal the second. Thing is, it can indiscriminate between valid and invalid data is your super. Conscious mind can actually bring you data, and it will only bring you valid data. The information it brings will be correct. You may have heard something or learned something that may have not been correct. A date, a time, a place, a factor, figure. But when your super conscious mind is sorting information, it knows exactly what is correct and what is incorrect, which is why a super conscious solution is always correct, because it's always based on valid data. Now too, it has access to data outside of your experience. It can tap into the universal mind, and all data that's available in the universe is available to your superconscious when you tune into it. It's very much like tuning into a massive receiving station in the universe. Now, with regard to yourself, the way this works is that sometimes you'll have an idea when you're sitting in this room, and I'll be talking about A, and you'll have an idea about B. And it's been proven over and over again that when more than two people come together, a third mind is formed, and the third mind is almost like an ether in this room, and everyone in the room can tap into this ether just like cloud computing. You can tap into this ether, and you can have access to all the minds of everyone else in this room. When you get a superconscious solution, it will be like an incredible loud voice in the silence. You'll hear nothing, but it will be so loud inside of you that it'll block out anything else that you're thinking about. At the time number 3, everyone has at least 4 ideas per year, any one of which would make them a millionaire. So if your goal is to become a millionaire, remember that the super conscious mind is trying to get you ideas to fulfill whatever it is that you want. It's interesting about the super conscious mind in that it is neutral as well. If you think of negative, angry thoughts, then you'll think of negative, angry ways to live, and you'll have negative, angry experiences as well. Mostly, however, it works when you are clear about something that you want or desire. You'll start to bring you ideas to achieve it. Many times you're walking, driving along, and you'll have an idea for a product or a service or something that you could do that would serve others. Say, why doesn't somebody do that? I mean, why doesn't somebody offer that? Why doesn't somebody combine music into a little gadget to carry around and listen to it with modern earphones now? Why does somebody do that? And the only difference between you and someone else, if someone else took action on it, and then a week or a month or a year later, you'll look around, somebody will come out with that idea, and they'll make a fortune. You say, I thought of that a year ago. One of the hardest things of all is to trust your own ideas. People say, well, if I thought of it, it can't be any good, because after all it's only me, so there must be something flawed with the idea. But it's astonishing how many people have created wonderful lives with an idea that was completely outside anything they'd ever done before. It's like some people who started off as legal secretaries often become absolutely fantastic people in physical training, which you'll hear about soon. And they had inspiration and idea, and it was an avocation, and absorbed them, and had an interest. So listen, the ideas are coming, the ideas are there, and they shoot through your mind. Many people will carry a little recorder, many people will carry a little notebook. They'll put a notebook by the edge of the bed. They'll stop the car and write it down quickly, because very often the rule is what you're seeking for is seeking for you, and what you are looking with you, what you are looking at, you are looking with what you want wants you. And so when you decide that you want something, it's time to tune in and get it. So we say number 3, it functions 24 hours a day. That means once you have programmed a goal, as you have both a goal and a mission, a major goal, and the more detailed you write out the goal, the more the superconscious mind can just really get its powers into it. If you say, I want to be rich, I don't want to be thin, well, that's got very, very little power. But when you're specific about how much you want to earn, and when you want to earn it, even if you're specific about all the things you could do with the money, sometimes writing down 25 things you would do if you were financially independent. Release activates the super conscious mind because of all the emotion with which you charge it. Remember, if you have a thought without an emotion, it has no impact. If you have any emotion without a thought, it has no direction. But if you have a thought or something you want combined with an emotion of excitement and confidence and happiness that you can achieve it, it's like a powerful bullet, and it activates all your mental powers once you program the goal in which you have done by writing it down. It goes to work 24 hours a day, and it's sort of like planting seeds. If you plant grass seed, what will happen is the grass will spring up in a day or two. If you plant a bamboo tree, what happens with a bamboo tree? Well, if you ever heard the story of the bamboo trees, you plant a bamboo tree and you water it and you fertilize it. Nothing happens. You water it and you fertilize the seed. Nothing happens for a year, and you keep doing that. Nothing happens for 2 years, and you keep doing it. Nothing happens for 3 or 4 or 5 years. In the 5th year it grows 60 feet into the air. It suddenly germinates and explodes into the air. Number 4, it automatically and continuously solves every problem on the way to achieving your goal. It automatically and continuously solves the problem, one problem after another. Now there's a basic rule that you need to understand, is that in order for you to achieve something greater than you've ever achieved before, you have to learn certain lessons. You've got to be schooled, and usually schooled in the school of hard knocks. You have to make mistakes, you have to make temporary failures and have disappointments and setbacks. This is the price you paid. But as I said before, when God wants to send you a gift, he wraps it up in a problem. So what superior people do is they look for the lesson in every problem that they have, and the lesson is often sent to you by your superconscious mind. And so whenever you have a problem, you will often you'll get a solution or an Insight to do something and do it, and it'll continually solve every problem. Progressively, this is all the great inventions, all the great musical concertos were all solved one step at a time, one scientific problem at a time. Or when you say poor Thomas Edison did 300 experiments before he found the bulb that lit up and stay lit 11,300, but every single step they had mistakes and trial and error, and they took notes and they tried something different and so on. People say, boy, that's an incredible accomplishment. Yes, but he tried 299 times. Reporter went to Thomas Edison after his 5,000th experiment. It's quite well known that Edison was working on an electric bulb. The concept of electricity had been delighted, but nobody ever determined how to use it for life, and the reporter from the New York Times said, Mr. Edison, why do you waste so much time on this invention? You failed 5,000 times according to your own admission. He said, young man, he said, you don't understand the way the world works. He said, I have not failed at all. I have successfully identified 5,000 ways that will not work, which puts me 5,000 ways closer to the way that will work, and I will find that way. It was quite resolute. There was no question that every single mistake was simply a step forward.